Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are really doing well. Arsenal are on top of the table, 9 points out of possible 9. We're the only club right now with a 100% winning record in the Premier League. I mean, there is a reason to celebrate. Another reason to celebrate is that Arsenal are looking for a new winger. We're going to be discussing new names onto the table today. Mykhaylo Mudryk, another Ukrainian winger, another Ukrainian professional linked with Arsenal today. We'll talk about Harvey Barnes. And also we'll talk about Callum Hudson-Odoi. This is the second video that I will be talking about Callum Hudson-Odoi, and still it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense for me for Arsenal to go and sign Callum Hudson-Odoi. But in your comment, in your opinion, I need you in the comment section. Let's talk about Callum Hudson-Odoi and Harvey Barnes. Now, according to a couple of sources today, Arsenal are discussing internally whether to go for Harvey Barnes or Callum Hudson-Odoi. Nicolas is a big fan of Callum Hudson-Odoi, but he would also be very open to signing Harvey Barnes. Personally, I would prefer Harvey Barnes. I don't think Callum Hudson-Odoi is a player that Arsenal need currently. But of course, in the comment section, the conversation is on right away. You guys have already voted for your favorite wingers, and that video is coming out tomorrow. The 5 wingers that you guys have decided that Arsenal should be looking at before the window closes. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We are very close to 58,000 subscribers, and the target is 100,000 subscribers. And let's get this video to 800 likes. Now, let's start off with a little bit of news around Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Now, I've been looking at a couple of stories around Ainsley, and all of them don't make any sense. But David Moyes is interested in signing Ainsley Maitland-Niles. That makes a lot of sense for me. First and foremost, West Ham do want to take him on a loan deal. They don't want to take him on a permanent straight away. They want to first take him on a season-long loan deal, and then they will determine whether he's going to be fitting into their plans or not. Now, for me, in my opinion, Ainsley is one player that is never going to find game time unless we are struck by as many injuries as there is. Of course, calamity is always happen in football. You can suffer from as many injuries as 10 as 12. But in my opinion, let's be honest, Ainsley, however versatile a player he is, however loyal, and he's a kid from the Arsenal academy and all that, he's no longer part of Mikel Arteta's plans. And the direction in which we are going, the quality that this team is demanding, the versatility that we are looking at is not only being able to play in different positions and across the pitch. You need to be playing successively well. The likes of Alexander Zinchenko, what they are doing, and the likes of Granit Xhaka. Look, it's absurd for me to say Xhaka, but honestly, Xhaka taking up that role high up the pitch and performing the way he's performing, I think it's absolutely amazing. It's absolute quality. And to be honest, Ainsley is not going to perform to that level. So West Ham are interested. I don't know, but David Moyes being that typical English manager, I think he can use him. I think he can take him, probably benefit from his versatility and things like that. I don't know if West Ham are really suffering from injuries. I think my problem with West Ham this campaign is that they have failed to find their first goal, and they failed to find their first point and their first win of the season. Does Ainsley improve them? I don't know the picture they're looking at, but personally, I don't see how he improves them. But of course, he would give them that kind of versatility, that added advantage in certain areas. He can play for you at left back, right back, in that midfield of Thomas Susek and the likes of Pablo Fornals and Declan Rice. I really don't see how Ainsley fits in. But I'm going to say this. If West Ham want to take him, I mean, just allow him to go. Last summer, he was very close to joining. I think it was Everton, and Mikel Arteta decided that he will keep him. I think, in my opinion, it was a wrong decision. And what depicts that it was a wrong decision is we later on left him to go on loan to Roma in January. Literally, that didn't make any sense to me. And I went on to scratch my head saying, okay, we keep him against his will in the summer. But in January, when we are desperately short, when we want more players, and we need, to boost our squad with more quality and actually quantity, then we let him go. It didn't make any sense for me. And I think it's one of those wrong decisions that Arsenal have made. So Ainsley, wanted by West Ham United, is an advantage for us. I don't think it's earning a lot of wages. So it's not a matter of clearing the wage bill. It's a matter of clearing those positions to make it clear that after Tomiyasu, it is Ben White and then no one else. So I think I don't want Mykhaylo to go. I have Tomiyasu and I have Rob Holding and Ainsley. I want Mykhaylo to understand that the only right backs he has at the moment is Cedric, Tomiyasu, and probably Ben White. And then at left back, it is Jenko and Karentiani. Because that is, I think those are the players that fit the standards at the moment. But anyway, Ainsley, if we can move him on, I'll be very glad. I mean, I just don't understand how we've not sold him among the 16 players that Nottingham Forest have bought this summer. I mean, just squeeze him in there. You could give them you could give him to Nottingham Forest on a free. They would definitely take the gift. But anyway, like I said, the quality for me, it's not there. We are upgrading the squad, and he's not working towards becoming a better player. He's actually becoming, he's one of those few players that I've seen that require the system to work for them rather than them working for the system. And if the system is going to work for you, you need to be very, very good. You need to be extremely good. The likes of Ronaldo, throughout his career, that is it. Players work for him. Benzema works for him. The likes of Rooney will work for him. And all those players will flourish when you leave. But Ainsley Maitland-Niles, you want a system. You want a complete system to work for you. You want to play as a midfielder and you're that incompetent. And literally that means you want the manager to create a special position for you in the team and then surround you with players that understand you and can complement your abilities. It's never going to happen. Not at Arsenal Football Club. So Ainsley, for me, guys, I gave up on Ainsley a long time ago. Just like Nicolas Pepe. Just like on Nicolas Pepe. Now, a small update from Fabrizio Romano on Nicolas Pepe as well. The deal between Arsenal and Nice is very, very close. It is inches away from being agreed. Now, I do understand that Nicolas Pepe has also agreed to go back to France and reshape his career and refine himself and probably become the player he wants to become. Arsenal have also agreed a few details with Nice. A couple of other details are yet to be agreed. I think the salary structure and how it's gonna be paid, and whether the deal will include a buy option or an obligation to buy. All that is going to be included in the last meeting Arsenal will have with Nice. But it is very, very close, and it's as it gets closer, as Nicolas Pepe edges closer to the exit door. Now, if you don't want Nicolas Pepe to leave Arsenal, I have so many of you on this channel. I'm not trying to say here that you guys are blind. I'm trying to say that we are Arsenal fans and we want the best for the team. If Nicolas Pepe is not in the plans of the manager, then let's look somewhere else. Of course, right now, Martinelli, Saka, Gabriel Jesus, they're doing just fine. But if you can add another quality forward, it's just going to work for us. So let's start off with Mykhaylo Mudryk from Shakhtar Donetsk in Ukraine. I understand, according to a couple of reports, that Arsenal is linked to the 21-year-old Ukrainian international. We would love to sign him. His market value on the transfer market website is actually 9 million euros. But Shakhtar would love the player to work for around 20 million euros. Now, he's just 21 years of age, and looking at his statistics, he's one that has not played as many games as you would have imagined. In the Ukrainian Premier League, 26 appearances for them, 2 goals and 7 assists. That is for Shakhtar Donetsk. And then in the UEFA Champions League, 6 appearances, no goals, no assists. But look, there is an advantage to the Mykhaylo Mudryk deal, and that would be the fact that football in Ukraine has gone frozen. Look, it's not an advantage because and I'm not trying to say whatever is happening down there is anything to smile about. What I'm trying to say here is that, I mean, I've not seen so many clubs take advantage of that market, but it is readily available. I remember saying this when Arsenal were linked with Endo, still at Shakhtar Donetsk, and I said, if you want a player like Endo from Shakhtar, there is no football in Ukraine, and actually the player was trying to force a move, and his reason was, I need to be back playing football, so you cannot hold me here while there is no league football going on. And also the other reason the player was fronting is that, the circumstances, players are facing, in Ukraine are actually not very, very favorable. So, look, Mykhaylo Mudryk, I think the reaction I would give here is the same as my reaction on the Yeremy Pino deal. At 21, playing in the Ukrainian league, it's even worse. It's absolutely worse. Because with Yeremy Pino, I was looking at a player who's turning 20, but has played for Villarreal in Spain, one of the biggest, one of the top 5 leagues in Europe. But also we're looking at a player who's played across these big competitions, the Europa League and also the UEFA Champions League. When it comes to Mykhaylo Mudryk, 6 appearances across European competitions, not yet there, guys, not yet there. Because what I'm looking at a player who is going to replace Nicolas Pepe plus. I want a player who's going to give us what Pepe can provide at the moment, and give us more. We know our squad is one injury away, one Gabriel Martinelli injury away from having a very poor forward line. It is one Bukayo Saka injury away from having a very poor forward line. So what we are looking at here, first and foremost, we are looking at a player who can give us that kind of versatility, play across the left-hand side and also on the right, but one with experience and one that is ready to go. We are not bringing in someone. I don't want us to bring in someone for preparation. The likes of Martinelli have come in through the door and they've done just fine. The likes of Saka. But how about we sign someone in the leagues, in the ranks of Rafinha? Because I loved the ambition. I loved the vision. Arsenal trying to sign Rafinha. Get £60 million, place it on the table, gets a very, very proven winger. It will be very crucial to our season. Right now, we are 9 points on top of the table, but we are untested. Literally, we are untested. Fulham would have been our real test, by the way, for me, because they have really started off very well. But they're coming at the Emirates Stadium. Look, anyone would say Cossy doesn't mean anything. Coming at the Emirates Stadium from the Championship, it is a horror show. You will not see Fulham turning up. It will be the same thing as Arsenal trolled Bournemouth. So I'm saying Mykhaylo Mudryk, 21 years of age. If Mikel insists, bring him in. But for me, 20 million euros. Currently, no. Add 20 million euros onto that, and then you're getting a quality winger. You're getting Cody Gakpo for only 35 million euros. You're getting Moussa Diaby for only 50 million euros or 50 million pounds. I think the Mykhaylo Mudryk deal doesn't really bring out the joy in me, the joy that I received when we were linked with Rafinha and when we tabled in that offer. It just doesn't. But tell you what does, it is the links that Arsenal are interested in Harvey Barnes. Let's talk about Harvey Barnes for a minute. 24 years of age, still very young, born in 1997. And I think he's a consistent player. He's been a very, very consistent player for Leicester City. My problem with Harvey Barnes is the end product. That is my problem with him, the end product. But at 24 years of age, it just brings out what I'm talking about. Proven in the Premier League. Yes, he's not played so much for big teams and everything, but he's proven to be very good in the Premier League. I think he's played a couple of seasons on Europe, by the way, with Leicester City. And that is why, personally, I'm going to say this. I have a bias towards Harvey Barnes. I like him. Okay, I just like him as a player, and probably that could lead to some bias. And I want you in the comment section to tell me, really, am I rightly interested in Harvey Barnes, or am I just deluded? I mean, there are times when your love for a player just clouds your judgment, and you cannot put it right. You just love him, and everything you say is to protect him. But this is what I'm gonna say here, lads. First and foremost, in the past 3 seasons, Harvey Barnes has recorded double figures in terms of providing assists and scoring goals. Last campaign, he recorded over 16 goal involvements for Leicester City just in the Premier League. The season before that, actually the two previous seasons before that, he was averaging 14 goal involvements for them. Now, the problem is the price. Leicester City would be willing to ask for around 50 million, would be willing to accept actually 50 million pounds for Harvey Barnes. I think there is no question. They have not yet sold any of their key players apart from Mykhaylo, who was 35. I think Leicester as a club, they've been selling a huge player, every year or every 2 years. The likes of N'Golo Conte, followed by Riyad Mahrez, followed by Harry Maguire, followed by Ben Chilwell. It's happening, guys. It happens, right? So every 2 years, they sell a player. I think the last player we can recognize that they've sold is Ben Chilwell. I think that was last summer, but one, right? So I think if you go in there with the correct amount of money, you walk away with Harvey Barnes. But the problem with Harvey Barnes is the same problem with Jared Bowen. They're good English players. If you sign them, everyone is going to praise you when they come on. Of course, you have English players in your team. But the English premium, I don't agree with that. I've never agreed to that. I've never agreed that Harry Maguire should be 80 million. I've never agreed that Ben Chilwell should be 50 million. I've never agreed that Ben White should be 50 million. I've never agreed in my life. But the reason as to why you have to pay huge prices for the top English talent, you just have that premium. You just have that premium you pay, and it doesn't make any sense for me. So I don't want to pay the premium for Harvey Barnes. That is why I would definitely stay away from the deal, despite the fact that I love the player so much. But it doesn't make sense for me for Arsenal to pay 50 million pounds for Harvey Barnes, while Cody Gakpo is there for 35. Cody Gakpo recorded more goal involvements in the past 2 seasons than Harvey Barnes, right? In the league. Of course, you have to consider the difficulty and hardship in the of the Premier League. But we are talking about 25-year-old here, lads, that is proven in the Premier League. We're talking about a 25-year-old that has his numbers, that is backed by numbers. If we can agree a deal around 40 million pounds, I would definitely go for Harvey Barnes. Look, I think Barnes will know that if he doesn't sign for Arsenal, it's going to be Manchester City. If he doesn't sign for City, it's Chelsea, Man United, or Liverpool, or West Ham. And currently, I'm not bragging here, Arsenal's project, among all projects, that are, promising, that have just been given life in the Premier League, that excludes Liverpool and Manchester City because their projects have, lived long. But Spurs, Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United, Aston Villa, West Ham, among all those projects, you can argue that Arsenal's project is most good. We have the best project, honestly. So Harvey Barnes, what do we offer? Europa League. You don't have that with Leicester City. And according to the trajectory of the club, they are going down. And look, personally, I don't understand why Leicester are on that trajectory, going down. But it's an advantage to us in negotiation with Harvey Barnes. You tell him Leicester are going down. That is one. And two, you're joining an Arsenal side who is in the opposite, whose direction is in the different, is the opposite. We are going up. We are doing better. We are looking at silverware. We are looking at UEFA Champions League football, and we're looking at attracting the biggest talents. If this project is going to go just like I expected, I am expecting huge talents to start getting attracted to Arsenal. We've been rejected by the likes of Tchouaméni, the likes of Jude Bellingham, the likes of you could name all of them. And the fact that we are on the road back to greatness, this is where you start to pick up that promising talent. And by the time you're there, like Manchester City, you can start buying the likes of Haaland, the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, the likes of Jack Grealish, and the others. It becomes easy. So for me, there is no way Harvey Barnes rejects Arsenal. No way. And whatever we are offering is just enough. Because whatever we are going to be offering, he's not getting it at Leicester City. He's not getting it at Leicester City. Believe me, yo. Unless, if you believe Leicester are better than Arsenal currently, talk to me in the comment section. Just give me a challenge. Just give me a challenge. I will be very, very, very glad, to have a challenge in the comment section. So Harvey Barnes, I like. It depends on the price. Number one, I don't want to pay a King's Joe for Harvey Barnes because he is English, right? So they do have an expiry date, don't they? They have an expiry date. And you have to give credit to players like Paul Scholes, players like Gerrard, players like Lampard, players like Harry Kane, players that have just performed through their early 20s, mid 20s, and now in the late 20s, and they have retired they have retired legends. You just need to give them a lot of credit because you have to ask yourself, every 2 years we have a formidable young English 11. But then it just seems to die out. It just seems to disappear. They do have that kind of, expiry period that is so near. Rusty Buckley, Jack Rodwell, Jack Wilshere, and the likes of others. Okay, Wilshere suffered from injuries. Don't attack me for that. But, why else? Why else, is England not having, formidable 11s? They have the best league in the world. And the reason is that their players have an expiry date. And that is why I do not want to pay £50 million for Harvey Barnes, who is 24. I am not sure what he's going to become. But currently, I'll take him. I'll definitely take him for anything less than 41 million. Anything less than 41 million pounds, I would pay for Harvey Barnes. Yeah, definitely. I would pay for Harvey Barnes. Now, tell you what, there is another player that Arsenal linked with, and I will not pay any coins on him. Now, reports are indicating that Arsenal are very seriously interested in Hudson-Odoi. We are trying to make an offer for Cho very, very soon. Chelsea will accept offers that they deem enough for the winger. 23 years of age, he has not proven anywhere in the Premier League. He's not proven to us that he's good enough. And honestly, among all the aspects of a wide forward, among all the aspects of a modern forward, there is nothing that interests me in Hudson-Odoi, one. And two, yes, he's a good player. He will take players out of the game. His end product is absolute bullshit, honestly. And also, Hudson-Odoi will cost more than Cody Gakpo, or even the same amount of money. It's unfair because Cody Gakpo's goal involvements are absolutely mad. They're absolutely mad. So if Cody Gakpo is going to cost the same money as Hudson-Odoi, Gakpo all day long, Gakpo. If Mudryk is going to cost less money than Hudson-Odoi, Mudryk all day long. Now, these are my reasons for rejecting Hudson-Odoi. Yes, I've read all that kind of bullshit that Nicolas is a big fan. He wants the player, and he's been a big admirer ever since he joined this Arsenal project as manager. Fine, absolutely fine. But these are my arguments. Listen to me. Mykhaylo Mudryk is playing under one of the best managers in the Premier League currently, and also in the league. That is Thomas Tuchel. And currently, Chelsea, honestly, on that forward line, are accessible. There are as many positions. As long as you can prove to the manager that you're worth playing and keeping that position, he will give it to you. Hakim Ziyech has dropped to the bench. Christian Pulisic has dropped to the bench, and apart from Raheem Sterling, who has just signed and just needs some time to settle in, there is no other player in that Chelsea side currently that has given the manager a reason to stay there permanently. Hudson-Odoi, why isn't he fighting? Why isn't he taking up those positions? It's the same reason I asked in the first video when we were first linked with Hudson-Odoi, and I said Chelsea and Arsenal are on the same level at the moment. We are on the same level. The fact that they've spent more money across some period of years literally doesn't put them on a higher level. In terms of quality, in terms of results, in terms of the direction, and in terms of realizing the goals that we have all set. We are on the same table. It's the same altitude. So if Arsenal finish third and Chelsea finish fourth, Chelsea will be disappointed. If Chelsea finish third and Arsenal finish fourth, will be disappointed. So picking a player from Chelsea means we pick one of their best, not one of their fringe players, not one of their utility players, not one of their backups, but we pick one of the best. I highly doubt Arsenal, Chelsea coming to Arsenal and pick up Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Literally, they don't. It's having two wives that are very beautiful, and then one of them just goes, okay, I'm going to be putting the clothes of the other one that she's not using. Literally doesn't make any sense. You're at the same level. You need to be fighting. You need to be showing that it's a battle. It's a war. And for me, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, it's a war. If I went to Spurs right now, I want Kulusevski, I want Son, I want Ken, I want Bissouma, I want Hugo Lloris, I want Eric, I want Romero. Those are the players I want from Spurs. I don't want Eric Dyer. I don't want I don't want their backup players, right? So Hudson-Odoi has just proven to me, the same as Armando Broja, by the way. They've just proven to us that they're not willing to fight for that position. They're waiting for the manager to go, okay, you've been seated on the bench for so long. Come in and show us what you have. You need to keep on pushing. You need to keep on fighting. You need to make sure you need to announce yourself as a player. Right now, I understand the competition is a little bit stiff at Chelsea, and that's why the likes of Tammy Abraham moved away. But I think with Tammy Abraham, I understand, and it's a little bit different, because with Tammy Abraham, we're talking about a player who was overshadowed by a £100 million signing in Romelu Lukaku. No one doesn't understand that. Everyone will be like, okay, you've been overshadowed by a £100 million signing. Let's find you a new club, okay? And when it goes to Roma, he does absolutely well. But with Hudson-Odoi, with Chelsea struggling to create chances, with Chelsea struggling to score goals, that is when you grab the opportunity, right? That is when you announce yourself as a player. That is when you step up. And that's what we've seen with players like Gabriel Martinelli, with players like Bukayo Saka. Because for me, the situation we are in here is Hudson-Odoi replicating a Nicolas Pepe at Chelsea. You're fighting with a 19-year-old Bukayo Saka, and Saka steps up by being Arsenal's Player of the Year for 2 consecutive seasons. Definitely, that position is gone. It's absolutely gone. And the fact that now the likes of Loftus-Cheek are playing in wide areas ahead of Hudson-Odoi, it's not good enough. Definitely not good enough. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Let him go to a club like West Ham and prove me wrong, just like the likes of Jesse Lingard did. Because personally, I said for Arsenal to sign Jesse Lingard, you better sign no one. And then he went to West Ham and did absolute wonders on half season. I think it's really started off very well at Nottingham Forest as well. So Callum Hudson-Odoi, guys, no, I'm not yet there in consensus. Now, I don't think he's one of the worst players, and that's why I love Dortmund so much. But I had suggested that Callum Hudson-Odoi should go to a club like Borussia Dortmund, because the advantages of such players playing for clubs like Dortmund, because Dortmund asks more of their players, and they just have that natural natural habitat and of nurturing players. So if Cho goes there and has a season, he can't evaluate himself, or go to the Dutch Eredivisie to a club like Ajax, or go to a club like West Ham. And I'm really intrigued as to why all these clubs that would have seen it as an opportunity that Cho is not playing football are not even interested. They're not even knocking on the door. They're not. For me, West Ham, they do have Jared Bowen on one hand and Ben Rama, but they could add a Callum Hudson-Odoi. They don't even talk about him. The likes of Newcastle, I think Alan Saint-Maxima is doing brilliant well, but I think Ed Howe should be thinking, okay, if I have Miguel Almiron on the other side, I could use Callum Hudson-Odoi as well, probably to change systems and what. They're not thinking about him. There are not so many clubs interested in him, right? And that is the point I've always said and talked about. I want Arsenal to be in war to sign players, because that means the quality of those players is worth it. We won the battle to sign Gabriel Jesus, and who has not seen the value, the significance of winning that particular battle? We've been in the war. We've been in a war to sign Alexander Zinchenko. Almost 12 other clubs interested in Alexander Zinchenko. We have won the battle, and who has not seen the value and the interest? We've seen it. The return on investment is there. So when you easily pick up these players that are no one wants, and you feel we can rejuvenate them, we can make them better. Yes, we can, but there is a reason as to why no one wants them, right? There is a reason. So for me, Callum Hudson-Odoi, guys, I don't want to be so rude, and that is the point here. I do not want to be so rude, but I don't see how us to massively improve with Mikel Arteta claiming that, not claiming, but stating that we only want the top quality, players that are going to take us at the top level. And if it is not top quality, it is not worth it. That is where Callum Hudson-Odoi the idea flies out of my head. The idea just flies out of out of the picture. He's not top quality. He doesn't add massive quality to us. We can do without a Callum Hudson-Odoi signing. I could use Mykhaylo. If I have Mykhaylo, you don't give me Callum Hudson-Odoi. With all due respect, you don't give me Callum Hudson-Odoi. And we also have Fabio Vieira. But the reason for bringing in a new wide forward is you want someone who offers more than just a Fabio Vieira who's being played in the position but out of place. Fabio Vieira can play very well there. I think he will be replicating that kind of Romdoita that Bernardo Silva is doing at City. That is what I expect Fabio Vieira to do. That kind of player that plays almost anywhere and plays just fine and plays well. But Callum Hudson-Odoi over Fabio Vieira? No. Callum Hudson-Odoi over Mykhaylo? No. Definitely no. So I'm honestly not going for him. And also the other reason is, how much are Chelsea gonna ask for? Right? Of course, we know they don't have problems with selling, but how much are they gonna ask for? 40 million is a minimum of 40 or 35 million. The same amount of money for Cody Gakpo, the same amount of money that I would get, another quality winger. No, I would definitely not do that. But anyway, your thoughts in the comment section below. What would you do in this situation? Would you go for Harvey Barnes, or would you actually go for Callum Hudson-Odoi? Now, more of the conversations on Twitter. You can follow me there at Cossy Arsenal. More of the conversation still on TikTok. You'll be finding me, you'll be finding me there, Cossy Arsenal as well. Now, we should meet up on Instagram. My Instagram is Cossy_19, and of course, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, because the conversations start on YouTube. Definitely, they do not end here. I'll see you very, very soon tomorrow.